But first, my thoughts on America in shutdown day 50. 50. Hard to believe. After China's lies and deceit about the coronavirus, the American public, I think, is finally beginning to get it. They're seeing the communist nation for what it is, an enemy of the United States and of free people everywhere. A Pew Research poll last month showed that 2/3 of Americans now have an unfavorable view of China. An RNC survey showed similarly negative views on China among voters in several key battleground states. Now, long before this first case of COVID-19 showed up in Seattle, China had co-opted the World Health Organization. We've talked a lot about that recently, just as they've done, by the way, with Wall Street, our top universities, and the American media, Hollywood. Well, their MO is always the same. Dangle promises of huge financial support or profits, as long as everyone looks the other way on their horrendous human rights and economic record. By using this approach over the last 2 decades or so, now China has grown in wealth, they've grown in power, and they've grown in prestige across every sector. They made the cynical calculation that high-powered Westerners would take short-term payoffs in exchange for freedom and independence. They'd sacrifice the latter. Well, they were right, sadly, at least until they met their match in Donald Trump. His America-first approach to trade put China on the defensive, and it forced China to the negotiating table, making concessions and eventually a trade deal that Obama and Bush could or would never make. The globalists were happy with our relationship with China during those 16 years. President Trump, though, right now is trying to walk a fine line. He's not as harsh on China as I'd be, but he has a different job. He is trying to balance our economic needs that are very big right now with national security. And let me be clear, no one, and I mean no one, has done more to stand up to China and tackle the challenges that they pose than Donald J. Trump. His administration is filled with hardcore China realists.
China is a very serious threat to the United States, geopolitically, economically, militarily, and a threat to the integrity of our institutions.
It's assessed our vulnerabilities, and it's decided to exploit our freedoms to gain advantage over us.
Our message to China's rulers is this: this president will not back down. The American people will not be swayed.
But the problem is, too many elites are still totally in the tank for China. The worst offenders, when you think of all the really bad offenders out there, the worst are perhaps the universities, and their connections with China, and thus the CCP, run deep. Since 2013, China has given $1 billion to 115 colleges and universities. Harvard was the biggest recipient, pulling in $93.7 million. But that's not all. A huge number of Chinese students, handpicked by the CCP, are admitted at universities, including Harvard, including, by the way, President Xi's daughter, who graduated from Harvard just a few years back. Now, Harvard has even set up an academic center in Shanghai and established a Harvard China Fund, which supports teaching and research on China and also promotes Harvard's presence in China. China has given Harvard, as I said, $93.7 million, 2,270 Chinese students and scholars at Harvard. Harvard now has an academic center in China. All of this that we've just talked about, this is stunning, stunning stuff. And by the way, Harvard's recruitment of Chinese scholars and Chinese connections, my favorite story. A renowned Harvard researcher, Charles Lieber, was busted for allegedly lying about his involvement in a Chinese recruitment operation. The PRC had paid him $50,000 a month, plus living expenses, for his work at Wuhan University of Technology. And get this, he ran his own nanoscience center at Harvard. He's a brainiac. He received $15 million in grants from, wait for it, the NIH. All the while, he was taking big money from China to allegedly help them recruit talent to then steal our trade secrets. This was Harvard's president last March.
Harvard is an American university, as Beida is a Chinese university. Our institutions have a responsibility to contribute positively to our own societies and to the national good, as well as to the world at large. But as universities, we fulfill this charge precisely by embodying and defending academic values that transcend the boundaries of any one country.
I love the soundtrack, by the way, underneath that. Transcend the boundaries of any nation. Well, as we see in the current pandemic, boundaries do in fact matter, and the CCP's values aren't our values. But this isn't limited to Harvard. I'm not trying to pick on Harvard, these happen to be the biggest. China has plants among students and researchers across America, most recently at the University of Texas, UCLA, and the University of Kansas. And again, you, the US taxpayers, are perversely funding this. Now, for more than a decade, I've been warning about the damage that this has been doing to America. And Senator Tom Cotton, he is rightly outraged.
It's a scandal to me that we have trained so many of the Chinese Communist Party's brightest minds to go back to China to compete for our jobs, to take our business, and ultimately to steal our property.
Now, what's most insane about this is how the media have lapped up China's propaganda. Now, Politico has praised China's handling of the pandemic that it caused. The New York Times is worried. It's worried about how COVID-19 could hurt China. And CNN, well, it should be just rebranded PR-CNN, given its shameless promotion of Chinese propaganda. Even when the CCP kicks out prominent journalists from our top newspapers, even when the CCP imprisons 1 million ethnic Muslims, even when, as we saw this past month, China rips crosses off churches and other buildings, this is a sick and twisted system. It's the Soviet Union on steroids. We didn't do almost anything significant vis-a-vis trade with the Soviet Union, remember? We allowed no student transfers from the Soviet Union, no Soviet students at our top universities. And that worked out well for us in the end. Why? Because Reagan understood we weren't going to enrich the USSR. That would have been disastrous for us. We beat them. It was peace through strength. And Trump had taken important steps toward rebalancing our relationship with China, and then the coronavirus hits, courtesy of China. Now, obviously, China is hoping at this point for a Democrat in the Oval Office. That's beyond obvious. And, of course, we know what a Biden presidency would be to the PRC. A gift.
Let me be clear. I believed in 1979 and said so, and I believe now that a rising China is a positive development, not only for the people of China, but for the United States and the world as a whole.
As we get closer to Election Day, remember this. As many elites in academia, business, and the media are doing China's bidding, you have a president who's always seen them for what they really are. A communist power that is working 24/7 to eclipse us militarily and economically. If you think freedom will march through Beijing anytime soon, just remember Tiananmen Square. Remember last year's Hong Kong protests. And remember China's refusal to reveal all that it knows about the virus that has now killed more than 70,000 Americans. And those are my thoughts at the end of day 50, America in shutdown.